let's just get settled into a nice, comfortable seated posture. You can have both feet flat on the floor. Just settle into your sits bones, shoulders aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine is this beautiful string of pearls of light that stretch from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just imagine you're lengthening your spine. Shoulders are aligned. Sorry, your ears aligned with the shoulders as best you can. And bring your awareness to the crown of the head and just relax your scalp and release any tension in your face, and the jaw, the ears, the inner ear, the back of the head. Relax the neck and allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. Notice the sensation of the air, the breath sensation. So it's not only the nostrils as you inhale and exhale, but also this 360-degree barrel in our chest, our thoracic region. So we expand at the side and the back as well. So think about that. So most of us are just used to breathing in the front. So unless you actually are doing some kind of yoga or exercise or something like that, you may not have so much of an awareness. It's taken me maybe a couple of years of practicing yoga quite consistently to be able to feel that, because you have to retrain the muscles. And also notice the rising and the falling of the belly. Now be aware of any sound in your environment. Just allow that sound to be there. Try not to follow with the mind. And then just notice what's going on in the mind this evening. And so for those of you who are there this morning, maybe just notice the difference between now and this morning. I mean, your whole psychology could have completely flipped around. Like what was going on in your mind this morning may have been just kind of completely inaccurate. By this afternoon, everything's sort of calmed down. But just be aware of, what's in the mind. Just have a look in terms of, thinking about, being curious about what's there, thinking about just observing. So in this way, you take a step back. Just be objective. Just notice, am I ruminating? Is my mind calm? What's going on in there? And then bring to mind some people of our life. So we could start with the ones we love. And then there's ones we don't love so much. And then there's our strangers. And we know these relationships can be interchangeable. Well, they're all equal. And they wish to be happy. They wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all sentient beings. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. And we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change that by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and having harmed others. We ourselves will necessarily be, experience some kind of suffering in the future. And logically, then it makes sense to remove these karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want their future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to this power of reliance. So we rely upon, we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has these methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us, we're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this beautiful, radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And it's a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are shaped like lotus petals, and they're quite long, and they're peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot, and his arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell, and this represents wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, and this represents the indestructibility of compassion, and they're being crossed represents the union of these two, infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. And this is enlightenment. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood, so as to benefit all sentient beings. So we have this extra little section on compassion. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we've harmed, and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you may have harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you, and we'll have compassion for them particularly because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them sometime in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the benefit of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And so here we come to this power of remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpiyata sawa kama sita me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. And just think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next is this purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all this gossip and harsh speech and inappropriate speech and kind of, useless speech, rabbiting on about nothing, talking about people behind their backs, all of this kind of speech instantly purified by this powerful nectar filling you. Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satva A Hum Pe. So again, feel really happy that your speech has been completely purified and imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech. And next is this purification of our mind. And Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So, you imagine you've walked into a room, it's dark, you flick on the switch, and the light that comes instantly dispels that darkness. So the same, the moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all your attachment and neediness, bitterness, anger, grudges, disappointments, jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be really delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is this purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And this time imagine Vajrasattva sending light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Jita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So now, Phil, you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to this power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's really crucial because, this is where we decide that we want to refrain from harming. So unless you make a decision to do something, it's not going to happen. If you've got to decide you want to do it, then put some energy behind it. So here is where we make a decision, we rejoice in our efforts. That's really, really important. And maybe part of that rejoicing could be, you maybe journal your Vajrasattva practice, what you're working on, how far you've come. Then you can look and see how far you've come. This is fantastic. Like I kind of wish I'd done that for my YMCA meditation group. Today I just had the old students, the ones who've been doing this meditation now for the past, like 6 months or so, 7, 8 months or so. And it's quite noisy at the YMCA. And so at the end, I apologized for all the noise. And they said, "What noise?" Well, that's how far they've come. I wish they'd journal it. Anyway, amazing. So you think, like yourself, how far have I come in the last 3 or 4 years that I've been doing this practice 5 nights a week? I mean, don't think for a second it's not having an impact on your life, because it is. So then think about something you'd like to keep working on, you'd like to continue working on, and put your mind to it, and maybe just work on it for, even if it's a minute a day, or a minute in the next 24 hours. And then think Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Lama Zopa Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness. So we think in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So just think at whatever level your mind understands emptiness, just place it there for a little while, even if it's only understanding the word emptiness. And we think about looking at all phenomena as being empty in that they don't exist from their own side. So just think that maybe question that whatever is appearing to you may not necessarily exist the way you think it does. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. So then we'll do our verses, chanting the names of Manjushri. With body, is it bodiless? The best of bodies, with realization of the peak of bodies, displaying his form in every possible way, he is the greatest stone, the precious gem. Haven't we already started chapter 10? We haven't? Okay. The wisdom of performing actions. What all the perfect Buddhas are to know, the Buddha's unsurpassed awakening, devoid of syllables, yet born of mantra, arising from great mantra's threefold family. The father to the meaning of all mantras, the greatest Bindu, void of syllables, with 5 great syllables, great empty one, 100-syllabled, devoid of Bindu. I don't know, I just love the way that's been written. It's quite beautiful, isn't it? It's almost Shakespearean. Okay, everybody, lots of love. And remember to have in your heart a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own teachers to live long. Okay, everybody, lots of love. I think